What up, everybody? You're now tuned into the true definition of a sports fanatic. I'm your host, Brandon Lampley, back today with another live stream off the heels of the Super Bowl. It was a decent game. I ain't gonna lie to you. I did catch a snooze toward the end. I woke up enough to see, that they tied the game up. The controversial holding call, that was a hold. James Bradbury said it was a hold. In the field goal for them to win the game. I picked the Chiefs to win the game, but you can make a solid case that the best player on the field last night was Jalen Hurts. I am very happy with Jalen Hurts. The only thing he didn't do was take home the win, but he proved without a shadow of a doubt. I think he is a franchise quarterback moving forward. I said that when he was coming out in the draft. I wanted Jacksonville to draft him. So Patrick Mahomes echoed these same sentiments. He said if there was any doubters before last night, there shouldn't be any now. But once again, I got my co-host with me, Mr. Reed. How you feeling today, sir?
Feeling good. Watching the last football game for the year. Pretty exciting. Anytime you get a walk-off field goal to win it in a big game like that, I think you get your money's worth, I think I saw something that's the third most watched Super Bowl in history. So there's a lot of people tuned in. Some tuned in just for the halftime show, but it is what it is.
Yeah. I seen the numbers. I think Rihanna had 28.5 million viewers during her halftime show, just down 0.2 from last year. I think it was 28.7 with Dr. Dre, Snoop, Mary J, Kendrick, Eminem, 50. Anderson .Paak on drums. You name it. It was a star-studded affair. So the fact that she was 28.5 and that was 28.7, lets you know the power of Rihanna. Now, we'll talk about that a little bit. But to me, it was an okay performance. She couldn't do too much because, everybody, I know every household, I seen it on the timeline. Everybody in my house was, she got to be pregnant. She got to be pregnant. She has to be with child. And they're like, nah, her baby's not. I was like, man, her baby's about to be a year old in May. She's got to be pregnant again. So, yeah, of course, he was pregnant. So she couldn't really do a whole lot. She did a little dance and couldn't do too much. It was a decent performance, but I don't think it had anything on such a star-studded cast from last year.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. Like you said, man. Well, that message went around the house real quick about her looking like she's pregnant.
Yes, very quickly.
And then it was the guess of how many months. And
man,
she ain't got on heels. She got on tennis shoes, and but yeah, man. But man, I think the Super Bowl, from a personal standpoint, it's a good type of thing to bring your families together. And I wish it was a little earlier than 6:30 at night, but we live in the world right now where everything is a prime time show. So, but I think those two teams put on a good show. I was wrong. I thought Philly would win, but hey man, when you lose it on a field goal, but I think one thing that the Eagles got to work on probably, they gave up a scoring drive on, well, essentially the Chiefs scored on every drive they had in the second half.
Yes.
And it is what it is, man. This kid at quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, and man, he's a star.
No question about it.
He deserves everything that he receives. MVP of the league, MVP of the Super Bowl, and Lord have mercy, I don't even think he's at the midpoint of his career. So imagine what his career, what the ceiling on his career going to be in another 4 years from now. He had a great, what it is, the second Super Bowl victory for him in 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's incredible, man. I know that Brady may be safe with that 7, but I don't know, man. This guy, 7 might be hard to get for him, but boy, yeah, I possibly could see 2 or 3 more.
Oh yeah. No. Go ahead.
No, I feel that not to get long-winded, but I wasn't shocked. Super Bowl come out of the AFC. The high-powered teams came out of the AFC. I thought Philly probably had the best. I still feel that Philly got a better overall team than the Chiefs. They didn't display it, but I think that this Chiefs team and the way that they play football in the AFC, that they vertical teams, they get the ball down the field, decent defensive fronts, and who knows, man? They might be. I know we always bring up repeating after the team just won a championship, but boy, they're gonna be tough to beat. And look like they, you look, and that's what I want the Jaguars to get to. We seen in the, but that tight end. I mean, when you got a tight end like they have who can do what he needs to do, you got a decent running game, you got a quarterback who can get out of the pocket, make plays happen. I mean, that's a formula. And then you got a good defensive front for them. I don't think their secondary is a great secondary, but they get it done. But they got a blueprint, man, that they got a lot of they got a mix of great players mixed with some pretty good players, and they got a real good head coach. So you put that combination together, they find a way to win. But obviously, offensively, that's their stronghold, man. I mean, there were games all during the year when you go in a shootout with them, they're gonna come out and win those shootouts. Most of them, the majority of them. So Buffalo, you got a problem.
Yeah. You got to shoot Cincinnati. You got a problem.
Yeah, they got a problem.
They lost 3 games. Kansas City lost 3 games all year. Eagles lost 1. But the 3 games Kansas City lost, they lost it, I think, by a combined 10 points.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great. And people of Jacksonville, hear me, please. As you can see, nobody can cover Travis Kelce. So leave Mike Caldwell and our defenders alone.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done that. It's not like he had a game against us and then he was shut out in other games. No, nobody can stop him. Every time we watch the Super Bowl, and my mom's like, can y'all cover Kelce? He's like, why does he have to catch the ball every time? Like every time, it seemed like he opened like every time. And I was like, he's good, he's great. That's what it is. But the thing that really surprised me in that game, and I heard Colin Cowherd talking about it, and it made sense to me. Said that the Eagles defense isn't as good as we thought. Now, I think it's somewhere in between, whether they're not as good as we thought or Mahomes and the offense, they're just better. I think it lies somewhere in between. But the fact is that they did feast on the NFC. In the NFC, when you go back and look at the quarterbacks they faced, they didn't face a ton of great quarterbacks. I think they only really faced 5 legit, you could say top 10 to 12 quarterbacks. Trevor Lawrence was one of them. And you can see the numbers. They didn't touch Patrick Mahomes all game. They didn't put him on the ground all game. I was shocked by that. That was the most shocking thing about the Super Bowl, was the fact that Patrick Mahomes was able to sit in that pocket, sip tea, and eat some crumpets and read the newspaper while he was throwing the football. That's what it seemed like.
Yeah, you especially when you look at in the NFC Championship game, the way they dominated San Francisco. But you're right. I mean, I thought that was the difference of the game. He had time to throw, and they didn't. The defensive front for the Eagles didn't make an impact like they normally did during the regular season and in the playoffs. And they got a little bit neutralized. And I guess you give that credit to the Chiefs' offensive line. I think they rose to the occasion, and they protected me. Even I still go back to Mahomes. Here's the guy walking off the field, hurt. He's in pain on the sideline. Team look like they in trouble at halftime, and here this kid come back. Man, will his team back? I say those are things that, boy, you got. It's just persistence, obviously talent, but leadership. I think he's a leader that he's not rah-rah type leader, but he's, when you see this guy know that he got that bad ankle and he still come out, he's grimacing on the sideline and all that, come back and he basically, lead his team down the field on those possessions for touchdowns. I mean, I don't even know much more I can say that's going to be a positive adjective on Mahomes, because I done probably said it. I done said everything I can say. This kid is good, man. Other times it just amazing me. Sometimes when people look at him and you say, man, what is he doing? He throwing the ball sidearm and he just running out of the pocket. Maybe he doesn't even have to run out of the pocket. All he got to do is throw it up in the air. One of those guys going to get under it and catch. But to me, man, he's like the Stephon of the NFL to me, man. It just amazing.
Oh, Stephen Curry.
Yeah, like what is he gonna do next? What kind of crazy pass he gonna throw that look like, man, only person on the planet can throw a pass and complete it is this guy. And Kansas City, man, I know that they throwing the parade on Wednesday, but man, I just think everything in the AFC, and I know Buffalo got this, and some of those teams. I can remember all the talk last year. Oh, yeah, Kansas City got more competition in their division. All these quarterbacks coming in there in the AFC West. And then it's all over. The dust is cleared, and what? Kansas City still on top. So I don't know what those betting odds is. I heard something.
They had the Division 1. Yeah, no. I was gonna say they had a Division 1. I think they wrapped up the division like week 11 or week 12. Like, it was very early. They wrapped up that division. They had won that division very early. And I, remember, I picked the Raiders. I thought the Raiders would do something. And of course, they about to blow it all up. They shipping Derek Carr out, which, by the way, he has no trade clause. He said he's refusing any trade to any team. The Saints were interested, but I'm pretty sure he did that so he could choose where he wanted to go. But he said the Saints are still on the table, even though he declined the trade to go there. So I'm pretty sure what he wants to do is, choose his destination and not have that place give up significant capital to go get him, capital that they can use to win in the future. So kudos to him. But Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs run that division. I mean, we seen what the Chargers are until I think it's their coach. I don't think Brandon Staley is the guy. Yeah. All right, and then we're going to find out. Sean Payton in the house, so about to find out.
Yeah, it'd be competitive, but I don't think nothing changing. But, man, we got to go back to the guy who he looked like a Papa Smurf. He like to eat hamburgers after victories. I mean, he's a guy that sometimes I look at Andy Reid, I say, man, how do you make this guy mad? I mean, does he ever get mad on the practice field? He ever cuss? I mean, he look like your Uncle Pete out there,
Right.
And I just think his perspective, he's obviously a great offensive mind, but I just think the looseness of him, like he just never see. I mean, you can watch him on the sideline in the first half. It does never seem like he's rattled or something going wrong or anything like that. And I appreciate guys. I can remember back when he was with the Eagles and all the talk was he couldn't win the big one. Lost that Super Bowl game here in Jacksonville. And, man, what are they saying now? And then it was almost asking them, okay, Coach Reed, are you going to give it another shot? Like they already predestined his retirement. And, he said what he said. He said, hey, man, I'm coming back. But I give props.
You don't quit with Patrick Mahomes at quarterback.
No, you don't. You got that right.
Yeah.
And another thing I liked about Andy Reid, I think he said this after the game that I know it said it because I saw it on ESPN this morning, that he hopes that Eric Bieniemy will get a job where he's in charge of which basically saying he hopes he get a head coaching job, which he needs. I mean, it is what it is. I don't know what these teams looking for. I think he get caught into this. Oh, well, he doesn't call the plays. But every time I hear those guys when they interview, I always hear somebody say, well, I'm glad that I'm here and we got a OC like the enemy. And I think even Patrick Mahomes said some good stuff about him yesterday. And I don't know what it is with the interview process. Maybe he don't come across in an interview. I don't know what it is, but man, when you got that much success, and I see some of these teams, and I see some of the people that they hired, and you said New Orleans, I know the enemy could have done better than what this guy did for a first year in New Orleans. And you look at the situation, what happened in Denver. So I just hope, man, during this, we're in the meat now of the coaching cycle, I guess. I don't know of any other jobs coming available, man. But I think this guy deserves his shot. Whenever that comes, who knows? But I would like to see him become a head coach with somebody.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, man. Because you had Nick Sirianni was up under the Andy Reid coaching tree. You see what Sirianni has done. I mean, what Doug Peterson, Sirianni. Now go ahead and get Eric Bieniemy. See, and this is the thing. This is the thing that I dislike when it comes to stuff like this, because I understand, you got to be, people got to like you and want to have you around and this and that and the third and all of that. But when we're talking about business, we're talking about results, we're talking about getting things done. They said this about like Randy Shannon. When Randy Shannon was at Miami, and they were talking about how he pretty much didn't cater or kowtow to the alumni and the boosters, and he didn't schmooze the way they want him to. And I was like, well, he's a football coach. I mean, that's y'all job. I mean, he could talk to him, but I mean, what do you want him to do? You want him to get on bended knee? I mean, Eric Bieniemy is a football coach. Okay, you don't like his diction or maybe his attitude or whatever, but has he produced results where he's been? Yeah. Has he produced results in the roles that he's had? And the answer is yes.
And that's one of the problems that I have with coaching and hiring and different things like that. Because if you go back in the old days and you go back to the Barry Switzer, you go back to the Osbornes at Nebraska, I think Barry could go in a room and schmooze with everybody. But I don't think that the former Nebraska coach was that type of person, and there are some coaches standoffish. The problem is the ones that standoffish, they left alone because they won. I mean, you go back to Tom Landry, he didn't shake hands with everybody.
Yeah.
But he won, consistently. Yeah. And I just, you have to, I think you have to I think no matter what it come down to, can he win? Can he lead a team? Does he have an great offensive mind? How much has he learned from an Andy Reid that he's going to transcend that and bring his own, add something to it, And that's what I see. I see a guy who's been under the wing of Andy Reid, a guy who doesn't knock, he's not knocking on the door and say, hire me, but it's pretty obvious that, man, how many other guys in his situation wouldn't have already got scooped up and got a head coaching job? I look at the guy in Atlanta, the head coach in Atlanta. I don't think he's one of those guys that go in a room and shake 100 hands. I think he's a football coach.
Belichick. Belichick too.
I know Sean Payton. I don't think he's a guy. I think he's a, kind of off the cuff guy that can throw a joke or two when he need to, but I don't think he's a guy that's known for being friendly.
Right. Yeah, so I think it's just excuses at this point. But it is what it is. What up, Dale? He said, what up, Jags in the offseason? Finally, time to free Ridley. Yeah, it is. Time to free Calvin Ridley. He said, what you guys think of the holding call? I thought it was the right call. Wrong time for how light of a hold it was. It was. And say it was. I think you let him play. I would have had no issue with a no call there and letting them play. But it changed the dynamic of the game. It did because if you don't call that, they kick the field goal and Philly has enough time to probably go down and match said field goal. But we'll never know now. But hey, Bradbury himself stood at his locker, stood tall. He answered the questions and he said, "Hey, I hit of holding was a hold." So, I mean, what else can you do? What else can you say in that situation?
I'll say this. I don't think the Eagles got nothing to be ashamed about. I don't think Jalen Hurts, I thought he played exceptionally well. Hell, I thought he should have been in the MVP, process,
Yes.
even on the losing team. But I see them as a bright future. I still say, I know people might disagree, obviously, but I mean, I still say when you look at the two, you look at Kansas City, you look at Philly, I still think Philly got the better overall team. But
yes, I agree.
That doesn't matter now. They lost the biggest game of the year, but I think both teams, I mean, you got to praise both teams. They got I think they got everything in play next year. And who knows? We might have a rematch, man. There's so much parity in this league that, I can't even get in the business of predicting. And I know they got the odds came out today. I think the Jaguars in the top 8 on the odds, to get in. And I know
overall.
Vegas love to do those future bets, but man, I tell you what, both these teams gonna be good. They're gonna be good for a long time.
Yeah. They'll say nothing to say when the guilt comes from the horse's mouth. Yeah, what can you say? There's nothing to debate. There's nothing to talk about. Eagles fans, get out your feelings. It is what it is, So, but yeah, I think so too. You'll see the Chiefs aren't going anywhere. No. They're not going anywhere. If you want to get to the Super Bowl in the AFC, you're going to have to see the Chiefs at some point. That's just what it is. Now I will say, this does bode well for Jacksonville and me personally. There are no moral victories, but you lost to the Super Bowl champions on the road by 7 points.
Yeah.
You're that close. Close. It's not too far off.
Well, may have been the only team to play them. I mean, Philly played them well last night, but when you look at those AFC playoffs, I think Jacksonville might have played Kansas City the toughest out of all the teams they went up against in the postseason.
Yeah. So
but yeah, you're right about that though. I think the road will go through Kansas City. Tough to beat them at home. They went on the road. Who knows what they're gonna do? As I know they got Juju Schuster and them. I mean, but I like the fact that they go out and get a free agent or cast out from somebody they didn't want and turn them into a star. I don't think people talking about too much. Oh yeah, they gave up on Tyreek Hill. Okay, still won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's just the money. Yeah, it's just the money. But I think next year is going to be a big year if he keep his head on straight and he can stay out of trouble. And I know he say something about him wanting to be a rapper and having issues when he was in New York. But Kadarius Toney is a talent.
Oh, no question.
He's an absolute talent, and I was very surprised in New York just giving him away for peanuts. But I would not be surprised if Kadarius Toney has a big year next year with him having a full off season, being able to learn that system in Kansas City.
Yeah, no question on that, man. And he got speed, he can catch in traffic, he can, yeah. He's a good talent.
Yeah,
they got a good one.
Yeah,
what was
absolutely.
That message?
Oh, and I'm about to pull up the picture so we could see it. But Dale asked, he said, "Do you guys know anything about Hamlin's jacket he was wearing?" He's talking about DeMar Hamlin. He said, "I'm seeing a bunch of backlash about it, but I'd like to hear Hamlin explain it himself." And I would like to hear DeMar explain it himself. But from what I understand is the jacket itself is the company is a Christian company. If I'm not mistaken, I think I seen somewhere where the company is a Christian company. So okay, yeah, here we go. So I see a photo of him. Stop sharing this, and we're gonna share that so you guys can see what Dale's talking about for those who didn't see it. Yeah, Dale, it caused some uproar, and I was like, I'm still trying to figure out. I was like, well, what's the big idea? I'm not seeing what the big idea is, but hey, it is what it is. But this is his jacket. It says eternal, and I guess this is a mock of Jesus on the cross, and it look like some garb here. But they say is Damar Hamlin's is he a Satanist? NFL stars crucifixion of Jesus at Super Bowl internet angers the internet. The Adrian Peterson has spoke out about it. But looking at this, from what I understand, the company is a Christian company that made this jacket. So I mean, I can see how some people. Okay, here's another one, so you can kind of see what it looks like. And so he said, without end or beginning, there is no day and there is no night. And so this is this depiction and this right here. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know. From what I've seen, I could see how somebody who's a Christian or somebody who is a follower of Jesus Christ would find this offensive because the way it looks, it almost looked like a Simpsons drawing or something like that. But hey, from what I hear, the company who makes it, they are a Christian company.
Yeah, I mean,
so did you see this or did you hear about that?
Yeah, I saw him. They showed a shot of him with it on, and then they showed him like two shots on camera, and then they showed him sitting up there with the commissioner with that jacket on too, with Kelsey's mother. But I don't know. I mean, I have to see what his viewpoint is, and
yeah,
and take it from there. I mean, here's a guy who was, I don't know, man. I don't even know what I can say about that. I don't know if I like it, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I to me when I saw it, I skipped right over it. I didn't even really go into what Adrian Peterson said and whatnot because I was like, I mean, now you just you want something to be mad about, I mean, it is what it is. They'll say again, give me an explanation from the horse's mouth. Yeah, let me hear from him, and let me maybe get a statement from the company because they catch some backlash, which they catch a backlash, I'm sure, but all press is good press, so they don't care about this. The fact that he had it on and it was seen, I'm sure the sales are through the roof right now because everybody wants to know what's this company, where did he get it from? Those who liked it, who are interested and want to buy it, they're trying to buy it right now. And so maybe the company will issue a statement about it and Damar himself will speak out about it. But I think it's much to do about nothing at the moment.
Yeah, and that's how I feel. I mean, I know that, I'm looking at what the caption said that Adrian Peterson blasted them, but I don't know, man. Right now, it's just for me hard to blast a guy who literally died and then was and reawakened. So,
yeah.
Cardiac arrest on the field, so, man. I'm not gonna, hey, man. I just praise Jesus that this man is alive. So, and we all sent out prayers, and I think sometimes the athletes should, don't. I can't even say that, man. I don't know. I'm just glad to see the man on the field. Went to the Super Bowl live, happy looking, and all the prayers and everything to me was answered. So that's about all I can say about it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, but I wanted to check out this moment right here with Patrick Mahomes and his dad. And I think this is the most his dad has been in the spotlight as far as Patrick is concerned, because his dad was a Major League Baseball player. I'm sure he's had enough of the cameras and being in the spotlight, so he kind of looked like he avoids it, and good on him. But, they interviewed him. They made sure to put a camera in his face the last couple of games. He hasn't disappointed, but I love this interaction between him and his son.
Love you. Hey, I ain't never seen nothing like you. You different. You different. I love you. I love you to death, baby. Man. You know I do. Oh, damn me. Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is, man. And he spoke his
Yeah.
words, spoke the truth. Yeah, let me say this, boy.
Yeah.
His dad was a flamethrower. I remember when he was with the Twins, but he's about 6'3", 6'4", and boy, he was a flamethrower as a pitcher. In the '90s, early '90s, he
Yeah.
was out there. But man, yeah, this is what it's all about, Brandon. Man, you appreciate your son. You ain't in the spotlight. And he's saying what we all, that's almost like what we said. Boy, you're different.
You different.
and they both acknowledge it and they love and said they love each other, man.
Yeah.
The dad know how to,
absolutely.
not take the spotlight from his son.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, this was him after the Bengals game. This was funny. Yeah, I like this. He was on the field at they won the AFC Championship game.
You got a cigar of your own, I see.
Yeah, I'm smoking the Joe Burrow.
You smoking on the Joe
I'm
Burrow?
smoking on the Joe Burrow.
How's it feel to be headed back to the Super Bowl?
It feels great, my baby boy did what he always do. He gonna show up and show out, and I'm just glad he did it.
You got a cigar of your own, I see.
Yeah, that was funny. He said, I'm smoking on that Joe Burrow.
Yeah, there you go. Boy, he was a hell of a pitcher, man.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, him. Him, his mom, and his dad. Look at little Patrick.
Man, that's awesome, man. You never think just looking at that picture there, man, and this guy might go down one of the best. Well, to me, he's already one of the best quarterbacks in history. So, the daddy played Kirby Puckett. I think he was on that '91 championship team.
Yeah. This is the other one I was looking for. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, man, when you have, I hope to see the Morants. This is what we talked about on the last show a week ago. Yeah. And, his dad done been in the spotlight, man. He done played in the World Series. And, to catch him on the field after big victory, there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't see his dad in front of the cameras during the regular season. And he's a truth teller, I mean, that was a special moment, man. And, I think he acknowledges what his son is great. And he ain't hugging the spotlight. His son, he's just showing love for the son, man, which is a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's see what he said about his dad here.
My dad, there were so many people that I was around in my life that set that example for me. And I was able to be in a lot of locker rooms and learn a ton about being a leader, being a man, and being a player, a ball player. And that's what I try to fall back on is don't be satisfied with where you're at. Just keep leading by example and being that person that everybody wants to go to work with and go compete with. My dad.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what it's about.
Dad, probably his biggest influence. Yeah. I mean, he learned how to be an athlete very early, being in those locker rooms.
Yeah, when you get advice from the great Kirby Puckett and other Ken Hurdback and them players on that championship team, man, who knows what he took to heart. But I don't want to be like the classical parent, but man, there's so much involved with being parenting, man. It ain't just talking it. You got to expose your kids to different things. And I think that's what he's, big takeaway from Patrick Mahomes is like just being in the locker room as a kid, seeing things, hearing things, and still taking it all in and still using some of the things that he probably took in when he was probably 7, 8 years old, man. So parenting. it's a lot come with that job.
Yeah. I gotta reset this internet. This internet is going in and out again, but hey, it's all good. We're gonna get through it. But from I think 7-8 years old. I think in his background, of course, is in pitching because his dad was a pitcher. I mean, you think about some of the Murrays to the Jameis Winston. Shoot, you even had I remember Calvin Johnson. Calvin Johnson got drafted in like the 6th or 7th round, I think, by the Mets. You know, when he was I think he was a freshman at Georgia Tech. So it's a lot of those guys had that baseball background or dual sport athletes like a Patrick Mahomes. But you know, it's what it is, and we're gonna leave it right there. Gonna move on, trying to get on up out of here. See, but we're gonna stay in football. We're gonna talk a little bit about Michael Irvin. We talked about Michael Irvin last week about these accusations against him and why he was taken off the broadcast for ESPN and NFL Network because we were supposed to see him all Super Bowl week. But a accusation by a hotel staffer, we found out somebody who worked at the Marriott where he was staying, complained against him, made a complaint against him, and got him taken off of the broadcast for the Super Bowl for ESPN and NFL Network. And so now he's suing the Marriott for $100 million. And now video has come out. They got the hotel video and witnesses because this was a busy lobby. People were there. He even had a crew with him the entire time when he was when they were at the event. They were at the bars. And they say Michael wasn't drinking because he had to work early that morning. He was only having club soda, so he was not under the influence during this interaction with the lady. So that falls through because people was like, when he said they were out drinking, they was like, oh, he was drunk and disorderly. Nope. The camera crews and people that were there said they offered to buy him drinks. He said no, he had to work in the AM. So there's been some witnesses who come forward. So it says Michael Irvin's $100 million lawsuit against the Marriott Hotel Company and a Jane Doe accusing him of misconduct insists the Dallas Cowboys legend is innocent of the charges, and it can be argued eyewitnesses and hotel lobby video indicate the same thing. TMZ has interviewed a pair of people who say they were present when Irvin's supposed inappropriate conduct on Sunday at an Arizona hotel occurred, or rather they say did not occur. And so this is I play a little bit of this from TMZ.
Right there when the interaction.
Fair use.
Question.
Yeah, I understand. So we just came back in from the lobby after taking like a group picture. So I was there with a few of my friends. You know, it was a bit of a work meeting. We had a really positive interaction with Michael. Group photos. I then got a one-on-one photo with Michael, which was great. At the back, a group re-entered this, and he get.
It was
a positive. They had a brief interaction, 30 seconds. He kept his distance at all time. Stood about a meter away from her. They handshake, and he literally turned around and went back to the lift.
What was it?
A little bit later. Nothing untoward for me to actually take notice of what was going on.
So there's not even like uncomfortably.
Like she turned around, like the conversation. She went bar area or around bar area, and everyone continued their evening. It was nothing that I witnessed that was untoward whatsoever.
Well, what happened? You were there. Yeah, so I was buddies of mine at the business, and we looked at the car and saw there was Michael Irvin, which was really cool because I grew up watching football. I'm from Philadelphia, and we offered to buy him a drink. So I told the waitress, I said, "Hey, can you buy Michael a drink for us?" Michael declined the drink, but came over and said, thank you. I have work early tomorrow morning. I can't tonight, all that kind of stuff. And he could see, I had my phone open for a picture. So he said, do you want to take a picture? I said, absolutely. He said, let's step outside. I can't take a picture inside the building or whatever it was. So we took a bunch of pictures outside, a little after 11 o'clock, I guess it was. And when we walked in, we walked back to go into the bar. He went straight to go to his hotel room. And I guess somebody that worked there, I don't know if it was a waitress or bartender, came up and said, hey, Michael Irvin. And he said, oh, it's nice to meet you. I'm Michael, shook her hand. And the crazy part is it was like a 30-second interaction. Maybe it could have been a minute because I didn't really think much of it because it was just fan kind of thing. Yeah. And I woke up that morning and saw this Irvin like sexual assault. It's like, God, I took a picture with that guy. And then I read it. And it was from the night that I was there, and I was like, "This is baffling," because I saw it and I never witnessed something like that happen before.
So, what you said she could have been like an employee of the hotel?
Yeah, she had a uniform on, so I don't know if she was a waitress or a bartender. She was just in that lounge or whatever.
And it literally optic. It was.
And 30 feel like action. That was it. And then he went.
You're cut from all.
Sick when because it was ever firsthand experience. It was and the bar was relatively packed. And jerk, he went upstairs or whatever. It just it was normal.
I appreciate you.
So man, that's that's damning. That's damning. It said one Irvin and an unnamed female had a positive, friendly conversation, had brief interaction. Okay, so they're talking about something the guy said, but I mean that's pretty much the gist of it. I want to see those videos, but I mean this is ridiculous. Yeah. This is ridiculous. It backs up what I said before that this prostrated. What other explanation is there?
Yeah,
and that this wasn't orchestrated.
Yeah, a hotel employee. Yeah, that's pretty rough. What it looked like, man. Guy basically got laid off for the Super Bowl because of that accusation. So, yeah. I think sometimes more investigating sometimes is warranted before the actions is being made by some of these companies. I think the NFL included are so fearful of having another Deshaun Watson off-season controversy like last year that it just gotta, I guess the answer to everything is being quick decisions without getting all the facts. That's what this sounds like, just a accusation. We're gonna suspend them. And then if you find that you don't have the information right or something that you thought might be the problem, then you don't hear nothing. This man done lost a week, ridiculed publicly. So there's a lot goes into these accusations.
And this is the frustrating.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is true. Because I thought you was done talking. All it is skipping. What I was going to say was either you're all in about defending and protecting women in NFL, or you're all out. If you say you're in, okay, well, that player not immediately dismissed and sent home. You know, I understand they're not right then and there, but Josh, I think it's Josh Sills. You know, he was indicted on assault charges or something like that from a few. Had multiple cases of guys, you know, getting into things that you had pretty much you had some proof, you had something concrete. You know, they're still in. They're still. Let's not forget the Ray Rice debacle, which kind of started a lot of it sent us down the path that we're currently on. NFL had and only games. It was the game that they decided to suspend him for more games. No, you can't do that. You already handed the he told that he did like he exploded, and 2 games was the punishment you thought was fair. Everybody's the first person who wants to vilify him. It does not work that way. No, it's very interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if it's my internet or yours.
Internet.
No, if that's mine or yours.
Can you hear me? You can hear me?
Yeah, it's like fading in and out though.
Oh, and it could be mine. I'm almost done. It's probably mine because I see it on my.
Yeah, it's like fading in and out a lot.
Okay, James Harden left, and we're gonna get out of here.
James.
Okay, we're gonna get this James. Yeah.
James Harden.
Yeah. So man, we're gonna wrap that up right there. We're gonna get into this James Harden so we can get on the pot here because the internet is bugging me.
Mm-hmm.
So, but man, let's hear what James Harden had to say about his tenure with the Nets.
There's a lot of dysfunction. Clearly, you know what I mean? But there was a lot of internal things that I'm not going to never just say or put in the media or anything. And that was one of the reasons why, you know what I mean, I chose to make my decision. But now, fast forward to date, I don't look like the crazy one. You know what I mean? I don't look like the guy that, or the quitter or whatever, you know what I mean? The media want to call me. Like, I knew what was going on, and I just decided to. I'm not built for this. Like, I don't want to deal with that. You know, I want to play basketball and have fun and enjoy doing it. That's what for today. You know, they got a whole new roster. There's a lot of dysfunction.
So that's James Harden speaking on the dysfunction in the Nets locker room and how he say he doesn't look like the crazy one now. And you know, he was talking kind of low. He said, "I don't look like the crazy one. I don't look like the guy or the quitter. I knew what was going on. I just decided I'm not built for this. I don't want to deal with that. I want to play basketball and have fun." And so, you know, and you know, I and I get him. You know, I get him. But you know, like you said, you know, wish you would have said this right after he left. But I understand he probably just wanted to move on. But for James Harden to take time out of his day to talk about his tenure with the Nets tells me that they were the dumpster fire that they look like from the outside.
Yeah, you're right about that. But man, we also got to know who the source is too. If you go back, I mean, I think this is convenient for James Harden to, you know, to kind of make him look a little better about the situation. But, you know, then I'll go back to Houston. Here's a guy who didn't, you know, he fell out of shape, got out of shape, powdered for a couple of months, and, you know, basically demanded a trade, didn't do what he's supposed to do to get it facilitated, and basically quit on the franchise. And it's just, I don't know, man. It's just, I'm James Harden out. And that's the one thing, man. You know, if it's important for James, and I say this, my final preach of the night, if it's so important for James Harden to basically cleanse his hands of the Brooklyn situation, you know, like I'm surely he heard the criticism. I know he threw in the media and all that. Then why not James Harden just say, you should have said this months ago that it was dysfunctional, didn't fit you. You and the coach didn't get along. You and the JGM didn't see the same thing. I think that's when it becomes more validated, when you get asked that question like, okay, what happened? What made you facilitate that you didn't want to be there anymore? And then we got to wait this time frame when, okay, we all know Kyrie gone. We all know KD gone. And then it's like, oh, okay, you want to talk about Brooklyn today? Okay, Brooklyn today is, I guess you guys now know that I wasn't that guy who quit on the team. I mean, come on, man. It's just sometimes you convenience.
Yeah.
I think this sounds more like convenience to me. And when you look at his past history of, I remember here's a guy who recruited Chris Paul. We're gonna win championships, even when the question was presented before Chris Paul went to Houston. Well, how you guys? I mean, it's the same thing like with when he went to Brooklyn. How you guys gonna distribute the ball? How you gonna be two facilitators when he's a point guard, you a point guard? You like to bring the ball up, and then these guys didn't get along. It didn't take that long for them not to get along.
It didn't.
I hope he's at a place. It looks like this. It's clicking in Philly. I mean, I think he understands who the man, who team it is, if you want to say it that way. But I'm all James Harden out, man. James gotta change some things for to get sympathy. Whatever he's trying to say there about not quitting on the franchise or whatever that was. Yes, it was dysfunctional, but I think James Harden probably played a little role in it being dysfunctional too, from the start.
Yeah, I can't argue with that one. This is like the school bully is getting beat up by a bunch of kids who's had enough, and you see the bully on the ground, and you want to go in and get your lick, get your get back for all the times he dumped you in the garbage can or gave you a wedgie. This is what he's doing right now. He's like, yeah, let me get mine in, since it's a flaming ship, it's going down, but let me go ahead and put the last iceberg. Let me put the last shot across the bow to sink it. That's what this seems like. But I mean, even with that being said, it just shows me once again the Nets, from the owner to the GM to the hiring of Steve Nash to the dysfunctional relationship between him and Kyrie Irving. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was all just a dumpster fire, and it's crazy because they could have got more for Kevin Durant.
Oh, no question. Yeah.
More.
Yeah. And my question on the Kevin Durant thing, if you were serious about moving him, because, he had already put in a trade request, I believe in the summer was the first time he put in one, I believe, or at the end of last season. It was months ago. And if you were serious, if you knew he didn't want to be there, then and I guess y'all hashed it out or whatever. But I don't know, man. This seemed like, okay, to me, it seemed like that trade came on. Okay, well, we got rid of Kyrie. He demanded a trade. So we don't want to be in a position where we don't get nothing for KD. So let's go and unload him too. I mean, it's just like a spur. To me, they do things like spur of the moment decision making. It ain't nothing planned out. It's just, hey, I'm bringing Sean Marks into the owner's office. We're going to decide on some things Monday, and we'll facilitate a trade by Wednesday. I mean, that's what it seemed like. They just go like a day-by-day operation.
Yeah. Off the cuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Making it up as they go on along. But the Nets management drug this out, because they could have been done. If this is what you wanted to do, you could have been did this.
Could have held out or try to get more pieces in play, a 3-team deal to get more assets or whatever. And I don't know, man. From the coaching change to Oh man, I mean, I almost about to say the New Jersey Nets. It just sometimes, Brandon, franchises are snake bitten, and I don't think changing the address from New Jersey to Meadowlands to Brooklyn has changed some of the things about the Nets. I think they're the same old Nets. You know, even though they wear different colors, they don't went from now they're in black and white and they used to be blue or whatever. The team that had Jason Kidd and all those guys played in the finals and got embarrassed by Shaq. I just think their history is their history, man. They can't get it right. They think they got the wrong GM. I don't think the owner, I don't know, he might be an absent owner, who knows, but it just seemed like they don't have a blueprint plan to know how to build a team into a championship contender. And that's a hard blueprint. You know, there's a lot of teams can't do it, but when you bring in James Harden, Kyrie Irvin, and Kevin Durant, and you don't know how to win with them, you bringing them all in, they sell the tickets and everything, and they play 16 games together, I think you got a problem with the franchise. I think they need to just go build their own star, go through the draft, just start over, and stop getting high price free agents if you don't know how to blend them in or take in consideration that, you know, James Harden might have a personality that don't click with Kyrie.
Right. Which was a report from the beginning before they even made the trade. They said that Kyrie had no interest in playing with James Harden. And I guess they were just like, hey, you're going to have to deal with it. And it blew up in their face. And it's amazing. Joe Tsai is, man, he's giving Jim Dolan a run for his money as far as worst owner in New York. Absolutely amazing. I've never thought I'd say that. I mean, Dan Gilbert and James Dolan are two awful. Absolutely awful. Dolan is worse though. But man, Tsai, man, you got to get it together, dude. You I brought you up in the conversation with two of the worst owners in the league.
Yeah, that pretty much sums the Nets and sums the Knicks. They're just bad.
Bad. So, but man, it is what it is. We're gonna wrap that up right there. Any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Well, man, what we got in the NFL now? All season and the draft, boy, it's hard to live without that football on Sundays.
Oh man, it's gonna be tough. Woo. It's gonna be very tough. Hey, all I'm gonna do is be my girl already talking about. She's like you all you doing is watching the highlights and the press conferences, and you watching this and you watching that. Hey, it's so bad when the quarterback goes ready, she can tell when it's Trevor and when it's not. That's how often I've been watching Jaguars highlights in the games. Yeah. And she don't even watch the games, man. So, you know, it is. What up, Kassan? He said, tell me you're not talking about the New Jersey Nets. Oh, my bad. They moved to Brooklyn. Yeah.
But you know what? Oh, my bad. They still bad. Whether they went from the Hudson South to Brooklyn to this team could be in Hasselback, New Jersey, and they still horrible. And yeah, just send them to the XFL.
Yeah, there you go. XFL football starts this weekend. I did not know that. Thank you for that, Kassan. I may check out a little bit of, just to see what kind of product they put out there.
Yeah, we all need a football fix. Can they score touchdowns and be 43 to 40 games?
Yeah. Can they? But you know what? And I just remembered before we get out of here, give a little hope for the football faithful, for those of us who do watch football. So you got 17 days until the NFL Combine, 30 days until free agency, 73 until the draft, and 206 days until the 2023 regular season kicks off. So, hey, you got a nice little schedule coming up. So the Combine's coming up, free agency's coming up, the draft, regular season is furthest away. But, you have some stuff to look forward to, of course. All-Star Weekend, of course, is coming. I think it was this weekend. All-Star Weekend is this weekend as well. So we got some things to watch, some things to talk about at least. But there's always going to be news, so we'll always have something to talk about.
No question about that. Let's see what the Lakers do. They'll be the news. Let's see if they choke or go.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We're gonna see. He said arena starts pretty soon. Something to tie us over until camp starts. Yeah, arena. I just never really got into arena football, man. It's just not something I've gotten into, man. But it is what it is, man. But I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Oh, go ahead.
No, I said I never saw you have a shark jersey on.
Yeah. Now I do want me some jumbo shrimp merchandise because I do like their merchandise. It's done excellent. It's very good. So I do want to get me a jumbo shrimp hat or shirt or something like that. But the Sharks, yeah. Now I got a Giant shirt. I ain't even got a Shark shirt. I got a Giant shirt, the Jacksonville Giant shirt. So the Sharks,
the Giants
I haven't seen them play.
Got banners in the arena, man.
They do. They win. All they do is win. Most points scored in a professional basketball game, even though they're semi-pro. But most points scored, I think they scored like 186 in a game or something like that. And I put it to you like this: I used to intern for the Jacksonville Giants. The game starts. And you be walking in the arena. Game already started. You get your popcorn, you get your little candy, peanuts and pecans or whatever. Then you sit your seat. It's midway through the first, and it's 42-17 before you even sit down. That's how good the Giants are.
I might have to go check them out. They in season right now, right?
Yeah, I think they are. Yeah, so yeah, definitely got to check them out, man. But I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on all my social medias. Follow Mr. Reed on Twitter, and we will be back with more live streams next Monday. Write it down. But until next time, we'll talk to you guys later, man.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Peoples.